Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal. How's Denise and Ron doing tonight?
We're doing good. We just keep fading in and out from the dark somehow again.
Yeah, your camera does that all the time.
So thank you, Nigel. And so I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. We got some special guests, and Ron and I are doing fine. We're looking forward to maybe giving you guys another graveyard tour. We found a couple more that are really interesting, and we're told through research and stuff that they're even more interesting than the last one we did. And so we're going to try to do that again before it's dark at 6:30.
Hello, Bill.
Right. Hi, Bill.
But other than that, we have some great guests tonight. We have Michael and Tory Kratz. They are part of, they own a company called Complete Holistic and Complete. Okay. I'm going to let them do it because I butchered it up already. I'm going to have them come on. And I think I met them at the Paranormal Conference in Pensacola. I met Mike there. And I thought that the services that they provide are really interesting. And people may not know that it's something that's available to them, that they could check it out and see if it's going to help them. I don't know how life coaching can help me. And I also don't know how hypnosis works. Right. So I thought this would be a good time to bring that up. So let's bring them up. Hi.
Welcome.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Good. So can you tell everybody about your business?
So at Complete Holistic Coaching and Wellness, what we do, we are certified holistic wellness coaches. And we are also licensed to do guided meditations or to teach meditations if you wanted to do it yourself. And we are also certified hypnotherapists, and we utilize rapid transformational therapy. Some may have heard of it as RTT. That's our modality.
Okay. So we know how to contact you. We know that there's all kinds of ways to contact people. And at the end of the show, we're going to tell them where they can find you.
Yes.
And all that. So how would somebody get started besides calling you and saying, hey, I want an appointment? How would all this go?
So if someone was wanting to kind of research or get a little bit more information about the services that we provide, whether it be coaching, the big one is the hypnotherapy. Just send us an email, or you can send us a text or a phone call and say, hey, I'd really like to know more. We do a 30-minute free consultation call. If the call goes over 30 minutes, that's fine. You know, we'll sit and answer questions for an hour because it's all about you. Just go ahead, reach out, and then we'll find out if, hypnotherapy would be the thing for you, or maybe meditation or a holistic coaching session. If you say, yeah, hey, this would be great. I'm all for hypnotherapy, based off of, I have anxiety, depression, or I want to quit smoking or drinking. Then we send you the paperwork and get everything set up that way. And we schedule you for your session, and everything is pretty much streamlined right after that.
Okay. So, wow. There are so many ways that we could go here. So I know you're open for it.
Oh, yes.
So if I was to show up, I'd just say, hey, I'm suffering from anxiety.
It's a complete package.
I'm suffering from anxiety. What would you suggest?
So, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right. So if you suffer from anxiety, so one thing that we would bring up is, one, you weren't born with anxiety. What was going on in your life before the anxiety really hit? And that kind of give you a minute to sit and think, well, I really didn't have my anxiety until I was, at this age, or I had this job. So your anxiety is a symptom of something. We don't know what that is because, of course, everybody is different. I might have anxiety based off of one reason. Yours could be completely different. So that's when we would go in and get to the root cause. So you have your anxiety is a symptom of what? So on our intake form was where we have a whole bunch of boxes where you can circle, I have anxiety, depression. Let's say you did anxiety and we sat down and said, all right, tell us a little bit about this anxiety. How does your body feel when you start to feel the anxiety kick in? Does your heart beat really fast? Do you sweat? What would be one of the triggers that kicks in your anxiety? So let's say my anxiety could be triggered by something completely different than yours. So it's not a cookie cutter design. Oh yeah, anxiety's anxiety. We're going to do this hypnosis. You're better. No, that's not how it goes. We sit down, everything is tailored toward you to find out what is actually the root cause of your anxiety.
So do you guys also do, since you said holistic, do you guys also do supplements and things like that as well?
We do not, no. So holistic, we're just going at it at a natural approach as far as just your internal awareness, your awareness about the situations that you've dealt with in the past, anything that would, like Mike said, would be triggers, just kind of that natural approach. We don't do supplements. We do have suggestions that we could provide, but that's not something that we supply.
Okay. Because everybody has different thoughts when it comes to holistic. You know, you say holistic and they go, oh, you shop at Whole Foods.
Yes.
Yes.
I got that the other day.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily true. We can't all afford that. Ron calls it whole check. So, which is,
oh my gosh, there.
Oh yeah. And until we get a Trader Joe's, that's the best we got.
There
So,
you go.
people don't understand Trader Joe's is not everywhere.
No.
Hello, Irene.
We don't have one there.
Irene's over in Tokyo.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. He's
And-
the one that owns Japan Paranormal. So
Hello, Irene.
So
Glad to be here.
Anthony asked, he
I
asked,
think he wants their website.
he wants to know what your website is so he can look at it.
Let me
Oh,
type that
absolutely.
in there real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead and put that in.
and Nigel is in the UK, isn't he, Denise?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Nigel.
Hello, Nigel.
And Anthony's in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I think Facebook user is probably Gary. So he's in
I would
Missouri.
say it's probably Gary.
Yep. Think so.
So
I don't know why it always comes up as Facebook.
I don't know either.
So we know our listeners pretty well. At
Yeah,
least
we know
well
a lot
enough
of
to know who it is based on what they're
Where they're
saying.
at.
Where they're at. There you go.
And we're also live over on Rumble.
So
Okay.
so I come in, I tell you I have anxiety. We start going through the process. And I know it's tailor-made, so it's going to be different. How long does it take the average person to get through a program?
A program or the session? So
The
to speak?
session. Well, I know this. How many sessions, I guess?
That would depend on each individual client. Most of the clients, you'll notice a difference right after the first session, about 95%. We'll get in, get to the root cause, do the reframe, get rid of any negative beliefs or conflicting beliefs you had, and then do the transformation. After we do the session, you're provided with a personalized recording to listen to for a minimum of 21 days. Why 21 days? Because your mind, of course, learns by repetition. You're trying to change a habit, a new thought pattern. So let's say you wanted to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. You do it for 21 days, it now becomes a normal habit. You listen to the recording for 21 days, everything that goes into your subconscious is now a habit. So we will find out probably about 2 weeks, after the session you've been listening to the recording. We're going to check up with you. Hey, how you doing? Do you need anything changed on the recording? Do you say everything is going great? It's fine. I'm on that great path to getting better. perfect. If you did need something, and go ahead and call us back, we can get you scheduled for another session, or just change some wording on the recording. If you say, hey, this is taken care of, could you maybe say this or this? Absolutely. That's easy. So usually we can get into the root cause, get it taken care of in one session, depending on what your presenting problem may be. Like a eating disorder would probably be about 6 sessions.
Yeah, minimum of 5.
Minimum of 5.
And just real quick, I've tried to put our website out there, but it keeps telling me that the comment has failed to post.
Okay. Let's see. What is the website?
Will be complete, holistic, coaching, and wellness.com. Oh, perfect.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So it went everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
So Anthony, there's the website. And you guys also have a podcast on
Yes, we
YouTube,
Yes. No, on Spotify.
Spotify.
on Spotify.
We have a YouTube channel where you see my shining face all the time on YouTube, and we do have the podcast.
Okay, and is the podcast called the same thing?
No, it's Go Deep or Go Home on Spotify by Complete Holistic Coaching.
Right.
But it's just-
And when do you do your podcast?
We attempt to get one out every Friday. We currently have 11 out there right now, and working on getting the one for this week because we are a little bit behind on getting those out there.
It's too nice.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Oh, it's good. I know. We could sit in the studio and do the podcast, or we could hang outside for a little bit now that it's not 108 degrees.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So how long have
Here we
you
go.
two been doing this?
For a little over a year.
Mhm.
Yes.
And are you doing well with it?
We are.
Yes.
It's going a little slow just because we're still a new business, and we do have a lot of stigma around the hypnosis. It's unfortunate, but a lot of people don't realize that, hypnotism and hypnosis is a natural state. So if you've ever gone to the grocery store, driven home, and then don't remember the ride in between, that is hypnosis. That is a natural state. Your mind is putting you in a hypnotic state because either you're stressed out, you've had a lot going on, whatever it may be, and your mind's like, we need to give them a break. So you go on autopilot. So, because you've taken that trip a million times before, and it's an automatic thing for your mind, your subconscious mind to kind of kick in and take over. Daydreaming is another natural state of hypnosis.
Well, I hope we don't go into hypnosis while we're driving right now. We still don't know where we are all the time.
Yeah.
There you go. I forget half time when I walk into a room, so.
That Irene, there's a stigma attached around anything that's outside the norm of things in holistic medicine.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Could
And
not-
with her being in Tokyo, almost all their medicine is very holistic.
Yes.
Yes.
Where, it's not a lot of, hey, I need to go to the doctor and get medication. It's going to be,
Like you tomorrow.
like me tomorrow. Be more like, hey, I need to go to this practitioner and have them either, I don't even know what it is, acupuncture or acupressure or
Yes.
aromatherapy even. So that brings me back to holistic.
Sure.
What are some of are all the methods you guys use verbal or are they, how does it go?
Yes, they are. So whether we do coaching, and basically most of it is with coaching, you lead it. So we just ask probing questions to really help you think outside the box. And then we actually do a whole body coaching, which is more about just your internal health in general. So like if you are looking to lose weight, there are signs for you to listen. Your body's telling you things over and over and over again. We've just gotten so used to not listening to what our body's telling us. So acid reflux, your body's saying, hey, I really don't like that, or you're having too much of it. And we just like, we'll just push it. We'll take some Tums, we'll take a Prilosec, we'll take Nexium, whatever's out there, and, just kind of push through it. So we kind of really delve in deep with that.
Right, Nigel.
We really delve deep into that. So good night, Nigel.
Night, Nigel.
Late over there.
Yeah.
And then with the meditation, that's more us leading that. And then with the hypnosis, hypnotherapy, with RTT, it's pretty much led by you. We just ask those questions and guide you in the direction that's necessary.
So when I was talking to Mike earlier today, he said that I didn't want to ask too many questions because I knew that if I asked him and I already knew the answer, I probably wouldn't ask him again.
Sure.
So what is the difference between RTT and QHHT?
Okay, so RTT it's called Rapid Transformational Therapy. And before Tory and I actually got certified as RTT practitioners and hypnotherapists, we were sort of clients. The developer of RTT is Marissa Peer, and she has over 35 or 40 years of hypnotherapy experience. And what she has done is taking bits and pieces of all the other major parts of would be psychoanalysis, CBT, NLP, neuroplasticity, hypnosis, and hypnotherapy. She's taken all those and kind of rolled them all into one modality in order to get to your root cause faster. So that's why it's rapid transformational therapy, because you don't have time to sit for 3 or 4 more months to figure out what's going on. Let's peel the onion back. Let's talk about daffodils. Let's talk about this. No, you have come to us because you need help. You want it right now. And with RTT and the tools that we have, we are able to basically get into and find out your root cause in a much faster manner and take care of it, and then get you transformed back out into your path of healing, if you will.
And then the QHTT, I think is what it is.
That's the
Yeah.
quantum
The
healing.
quantum healing.
Yeah.
That goes more back into your past lives, and it tries to tap into your knowledge from your past lives and tries to pull it over to your current life as we know it.
Do you, here we go, here comes the paranormal part of this. Do you believe that past lives exist?
I do. Yes.
I do. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
How can you prove how can you prove?
Can you prove it?
Yeah, that's the thing that I have trouble with. I'm a data person.
Sure. No, that's
No.
great. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more individually based. Feelings, our intuition is huge.
Mhm.
We have, we tap into, I believe in spirits. I believe in, there's more to, or, there's more on earth with us than we realize. And I think that sometimes when we can tap into that, we can tap into those spirits. We can, when we listen, that sometimes we can hear even their knowledge, but it's not what we do with, in our modality, but, with the spirits, with all of that, that is something that I feel that can help guide us at times.
So to be honest, I've had trouble with this past life thing.
Sure.
I've had people read me and tell me, hey, your past life, you were a nurse during the Great Fire in San Francisco. Why does everything goes back to some major event that everybody knows about?
Sure.
Why is everybody's past life they were a princess or something like that, or there's nothing
Sure.
common.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely definitely nothing to prove that it is there. I think it's more of just individual belief.
So Anthony's just asking a general question on past lives. Can past lives be broken down into a family line and time your life energy? And a time your life energy was used.
Great question.
Yeah, it's kind of basically your opinion.
Sure.
So when we were going through for our coaching sessions and learning the meditation, ours is based off of Jose Silva, the ultra mind control method. And we did a lot of this through Mind Valley. And with one of the master classes.
And real quick with that mastermind, the mind control, it's not about
we're not controlling anybody yet.
Yeah, it's not about controlling people. It's about controlling your own mind. Just want to make sure that's out there.
Be another stigma. Oh my gosh, they're gonna make no.
We're not gonna make you just bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken, I promise.
And his name actually escapes me at this time, but there was an older gentleman, I think he was in his 70s or 80s, and he was able to get into such a relaxed meditative state, because when you meditate, you want to be within your alpha brain waves. And he was able to get into such a deep meditative state. He was able to find himself, or possibly, as you had asked, Anthony, another relative who was a piano player. This guy never learned to play piano. So he had tapped into his, past life, his former, or someone that was on the same parallel, to learn how to play piano. And within 6 months, he was at concert pianist level, just by doing that through meditation. He was able to really get in deep. So can it be done? Yeah, because we've
seen it.
Have I been able to do it? I'm still trying to meditate to get the winning lottery numbers.
Again, people ask me that all the time. They go, Denise, you see spirits and all that. I said, I'm not a psychic.
Yeah,
exactly.
And even if I was, I think that the show Charmed had it right.
Yeah.
If you do anything for personal gain, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Or if it doesn't benefit everyone.
Which one?
Future or past?
Oh, well, we got lots of time for that one.
Yeah.
So we have a question we've been asking everyone, and we will ask that of you guys later.
Absolutely. No worries. Yeah.
It's a fun question. It's thought provoking.
I might have brought it up already.
Past
lives.
Yeah, you may have. It may be deja vu for you.
It could be.
So how long does it take to learn what you guys have learned for your business?
With the training itself, it was 6 months, but we are able to pull a lot from our life experiences.
Right.
Places we've been. We've always been somebody that people come and tell their troubles to, and things like that. So we've had a lot of experience even in that realm. But for the actual certification was 6 months.
Yeah, I have this bad face. I really do. We walk into some place and I ask how somebody
In
is
the Bahamas.
and they will tell me exactly how they are.
Well, and it's that energy and spirit about you. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's just kind of how it is. They feel comfortable and just unleash.
That's I guess that's why I do this.
Some are a little too comfortable.
So yes.
Yeah, they'll tell you everything.
They can get pretty deep.
Yeah, she did. This one did.
Yeah. Anthony also asked, does DNA play a part in your past life experiences?
It's going to be more.
That
of
is
your
a good
question?
yes. So when we were, of course, going through the training in Mind Valley, we had an opportunity to do a meditation session with, her name was Reagan Hilliard, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but it was this particular meditation. The ones that we teach are about 15 minutes long, because you don't have an hour to sit and take. You have stuff you got to get done. So this one was about an hour and 10 minutes long, to where she would actually get you into the your nice heavy relaxed state, and then start to have you, okay, this is your DNA. This is, this might be your past life. This might be a particular energy block you had. So we're going to take it out. We're going to completely redo your DNA and get you back on track. So as far as DNA having something to play with a past life, I would probably say yes. Yeah, DNA is pretty interesting. Back in the day, I'd taken some genetics classes, and genetics it's pretty fascinating. It's interesting. Granted, it's kind of cut and dry, but what you're able to do with it and what you're able to make is pretty fascinating.
And you can repair your own DNA too, through the, like Irene, with the holistic approach, the herbal medicines, things like that. We really don't realize how important that is. You start talking about, medications, they're synthesized. They actually mimic what our bodies make, but then our bodies realize, hey, this is not real. It's not a real substance that I can process, because, synthetic products are much more difficult to break down. And, that can actually, start to break the structure of your DNA. So by doing the more holistic approach, you're able to strengthen that DNA as well.
It's kind of like when you put something in your body that's not really food, your body thinks it's like plastic. Yes. Not that it is plastic, but it tries to eject it and it can't.
Absolutely.
And that's where your DNA can get fried.
Yes.
So, and yeah, I mean, I'm making it really simple, but only because of the fact that that's how I talk. So
no, completely get that. Yes, absolutely. And it's a great example.
Well, I do technical stuff, and I can't ever talk technical because I don't know how I do stuff. I just talk about it. And when I do get technical, I lose everybody. So I'm not going to do it. But what made you guys want to get into this business?
I've been waiting for that question. Okay. So, you want me to start?
Yes, you
All right.
Right
so,
ahead.
Back in the day, okay, I got a call from a friend of mine that he needed some help. Some friends of his, they were setting up some like rapid COVID testing sites. The company was going way too fast. He needed some people to come in, help him set these things up, do the training. So for 2 years-ish, we were corporate trainers. We were all over the United States, dealing with, local municipalities, setting up, we learn more about setting up labs and training labs and, what the fire marshal says you can and cannot do. We learned a lot. That was pretty interesting. So we did that for 2 years straight, 7 days a week, minimum of 14 to 16 hours a day. So it was nuts. It was crazy. Now we met some awesome people along the way from some of the states. Just some of the people that we had trained were just amazing. We're actually still friends with some of them today. They'll say, "Hey, what's going on?" So as we started, as things expanded, and we started to see some people work their way up the food chain, was where we really started to see the narcissism and toxicity. And it was bad. It was horrible. And one of the main ones who pretty much started the toxicity and I'm this, just real bad. It was bad. He was actually a friend of mine who, let me go back a little further. So I did from 90 to 2001, I was in the Army. After that, I was a cop here for 6 years. Then I had a buddy of mine who talked me into being a private security contractor. So I worked for Triple Canopy for almost 8 years in Iraq. So the guy who called up and said, "Hey man, I really need some help. I really need you to make this happen. Could you and your wife come and help?" I was like, "Great." He was on my team in Baghdad. So this wasn't some corporate muckety muck that I just ran into and he turned into be this major narcissist and backstabber. No, this was a guy that I knew, that I ran with in the streets.
Right.
So when we started to see that happen, like, you've got to be kidding me. Well, his boss was actually a former security contractor as well. We knew a lot of the same people. He was ex-Army. And we really started to see, as people moved up the food chain, that ego, that
Titles,
that just the sense of entitlement was horrible. And we really started to feel it, to where we just get up in the morning. The only thing that really keep you going is getting up and, hey, we're going to see these cool people. We're going to meet some, like I said, we met some awesome people. So that's kind of what kept you going. Well, toward the end of it, after we kind of had enough of the toxicity and just, you name it, the hostile work environment was absolutely insane. So we're sitting in Omaha, which is where the corporate office was. We're sitting in the hotel room. We're finishing up some paperwork before we're getting ready to come back home. We're not doing training anymore. We don't need this. Yeah, you don't need that anymore, because we started holding you guys accountable because you asked the question. Don't ask a question you don't want to know the answer to. So hold someone accountable. You get nailed for it. So now we are burnt out. She'd actually had a breakdown at Saugus.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was it. I come out of the back. She is sitting on the couch just in tears. I haven't seen, we've been together.
I'm not a crying person either.
No. So like this isn't cool.
It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm mentally, I'm just burnt out.
Yeah.
We take the letters of resignation probably 3 or 4 times. I don't want to. The HR at the time was absolutely useless. I apologize to anybody on here if you are HR.
Yes.
I'm sure you do an outstanding job. But when you're a buddy of somebody else and they're like, we're going to make you a director of HR because you were a bartender and you made me a great old fashioned.
They were not certified in HR. They were not.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yep.
So anyway, here we are. We're sitting in Omaha. We're in the hotel room doing the paperwork. Now, the corporate office was literally right across the street. And you could feel, I could feel the tension. You could cut it with a butter knife, just the aggression and everything. Was like, oh my God. So we never went over there. We did everything online. If we had to take care of something else downtown, we went ahead and did it. Well, we're sitting there and Tori's flipping through Facebook. And all of a sudden there's this ad by Vishen Lakhiani, and it's for the Silva Ultramind meditation. Hey, you can get calm. You can do this. You can do that. And we're like, you know what? Let's try it. Why not?
Right.
We were doing the affirmations and everything else just to try to keep that positivity. It's like, let's do it. So we downloaded the audiobook and went through all the drills that they had you do. And within, I'd probably say for me, about a day and a half, the aggression was gone. I got up, I walked out into the main area of the hotel room, and it felt clear. It's like, okay, maybe there's something to this. Because if you'd have talked to me about 5-6 years ago and said, you're going to teach meditation and be a hypnotherapist, I would have laughed in your face. I said, yeah, no, you don't know me that well. Maybe I didn't know me that well.
He's also Italian, so
yeah, pardon the hands
mix.
And all that stuff.
There you go.
I'm not Italian, but I talk with my hands.
Yeah.
You have to. It's
it's emphasis. It's word emphasis.
That's one of those deals you always,
Exactly. If I sat on my hands, I'd be boring.
Well, a lot of things that you've said during this, and I know you're not done, but so much of this sounds like what we experience within the paranormal with people.
Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have narcissists. We have people who think that they're better than everybody else. We have people who've gotten raised up for just being on a TV show. They're not any smarter than anybody else, but it sounds very similar. In fact, at the paranormal conference you were at, there were some people there that had been on a TV show, really nice guys, no more knowledgeable than me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, you know, but they're likable, you know, and maybe they say what they want to say.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't. Actually, most of these people say what the network wants them to say, not what we want to
Right.
hear.
Script
Absolutely.
says.
So,
Yes.
and
Anthony,
Anthony,
absolutely.
yep.
the way that you deal with people is basically the way that you are. But you're also talking about clearing a space.
Yes.
It may be the spaces in your head, or in your body, but it's the same as somebody going in and saying, "Hey, I got to sage this area.
Yes.
I need to cleanse it." It's the same thing. So we are within the realm of the paranormal, but being normal.
Yes.
So
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
and we used to live just down 29. So Carl lives not too far from Omaha now.
No.
We used to live in Kansas City, so we know the area in which you were at.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know how you were able to get around downtown because it's always under construction.
Always.
Right.
Oh gosh. Always.
So we know that. So
That's some great food in Omaha.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Food.
well, and if you can't find great food, you can always find a Runza down the street.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
Oh my God. That's true.
So you walked out into the hotel room, or out of the hotel room and into the lobby, and you felt like a weight's been lifted off of you, and
Yes.
everything felt. So where did you go from there?
So we, of course, continued on with the meditation. We're like, okay, the end of my 15 minutes a day, morning and evening, and then we kind of do one in the afternoon. So Tori went ahead, she got into Mind Valley, and we joined Mind Valley. Okay, there is something to this. Let's give it a shot. And that was where she had found, because if you're in Mind Valley, they have what they call little quests. Here's a 28-day quest or a 30-day quest on whatever you may want to do, whether it's intermittent fasting or enhancing your business. Well, Tori found Marissa Peer's rapid transformational therapy for abundance. Like, rapid transformational therapy, what's this? So we went ahead, signed up for one of the quests, and it was really amazing. So we were clients of hypnotherapy before the opportunity to get certified fell on our laps, which was pretty interesting. So we kind of followed through with the meditation, and then did the hypnotherapy, which we were doing it. You get put in hypnosis, like a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's to help get rid of blocks. What happened back in your childhood could be a major hurdle. Yeah. So it was really interesting, and which kind of made me a believer. I was like, okay, like I said, if you'd asked me 5-6 years ago, I'd have, okay. Yeah, right.
So with the hypnosis part, can it take you back to a time that something happened and you can relive it?
You won't relive it. You'll you're looking at us right now on your screen. It's like you're a third person in it, but you're never reliving it.
Okay.
But yes, you can go back to those particular scenes.
You only review. I'll give you an example. A big one is fear of public speaking. So we go ahead, do the induction, get you down into hypnosis, and then we'll take you back to 3 scenes. And we'll say, okay, you're getting ready to, as I count you back, you're going to be going into a scene that has all to do with why you had the fear of public speaking. On 5, you're getting smaller, shorter. 3, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. A scene is coming to you right now that has everything to do with why you had the fear of public speaking. And as I tap your forehead, a scene is coming to you vividly and very bright light now, just like you turned on your TV screen, and then hit. Where are you? Is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? Are you alone or with someone? So what are you feeling, hearing, and most of all, what are you experiencing? And this is where, so for the fear of public speaking, we've heard, well, I'm in my grade school. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about grade school. I'm sitting in the classroom and all the kids are laughing at me. Okay. Well, describe to me a little more about the reason why these kids are laughing at you. Well, we're reading aloud and I pronounced a word wrong, and all my classmates are now laughing at me and I feel embarrassed. So there's a key word. You feel embarrassed. Well, what has your teacher done? All my teacher's laughing with him and is still making fun of me. Okay. There's your first one.
Yeah.
So you go back to your other scene, same thing. I was forced. I'm in the school play. I'm on stage. I got my lines wrong. Everyone's laughing at me. Now I feel embarrassed. I feel ashamed. I have no self-esteem. So as you run back to the scenes, you'll see, okay, everything started back when you were in grade school. Well, now we need to say, well, you're not in grade school anymore. You're a 35 or 40-year-old adult. You're not back in there anymore.
You don't need their approval.
You don't need the approval from your teacher. You don't need the approval from your classmates. You can read perfectly well. You've been through college, or you've read many books, or you speak aloud right now. So there is no reason for you to have any fear of standing up in front of people because you're positive. You know exactly what you're doing. And then we just roll right on through that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that every day that they're out in public, they're public speaking.
Absolutely.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And that's true. Well, I'm afraid of public. You do it all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do it every meeting that you have at work, or even when you're just talking to somebody, to the person at McDonald's taking your order. It's public.
Yes,
absolutely.
That is true.
Yeah.
I've never had a fear of public speaking. I have a fear of public reading because I'm dyslexic, but that's a whole different problem. But that's why I'm not reading anything.
Yes. Yeah.
So figured a way around that. So in my case, my thing is, could it take me back to when my dad was murdered and the day that he was murdered, to where I could re-see or re-know what I know, validate what I know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Get clarity. Yes. Absolutely.
And how far back can we go? Can we go back to the crib or the cradle?
Go for it.
No,
I said the womb, but
yeah,
go right on ahead.
Mike said we can go back all the way into the womb. So we've had people, it's dark, I can't see anything. So what we say is like, I want your ears to be open. What do you hear? And then like, oh, I hear some muffled sound, and then they kind of go in and like, oh, my mom's telling me, I'm killing her. Just this has been the worst pregnancy and she's killing me. We don't really realize how important it is, what we're saying while they're in the womb. And we've had clients that have gone all the way back to the womb where they're actually still growing.
Oh, that's weird.
It's wild.
It's wild because you're going through. It's like, okay, what do you see? What are you experiencing? It's dark. I don't have anything. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. We're like,
all you hear is.
And then you go, yeah. So now, what are you hearing? Mm-hmm. And then like, oh, I hear this. Like, oh, okay, cool.
And there's been others where they see darkness and they were locked in a closet or locked in their room or something along those lines. So I mean, it's more than just that. But yes, so we've had people go that far back.
I know a girl that was actually locked in the closet for a long time, and it was on the news. They lived across the street from us, so I'd hate to know what's in her thought process on things.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you guys have any questions? I know you have.
Okay. I got a question.
Yes, Carl.
Okay. You have to do all this hypnosis with the person with you.
No, sir.
Live, not a virtual.
We can do it virtually as well. And it works.
Really?
Yes, sir. It works just as well as in person.
Okay. Well, when you said you had to tap on their forehead, do you have a keyword that wakes them up?
So whenever we go, instead of saying when I tap on your forehead on our microphone, I'll say whenever I hit the microphone, or we have or a snap. Whenever you hear my finger snap, it's coming to you right now.
Oh,
I have a clicker,
yeah,
like you train your dog with. And
yeah. Yes.
We had those things. They were toys back in the day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean,
So do
nowadays
you-
you wouldn't give a kid anything metal to do.
Right. So do you have a lot of clients that do it virtual?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Have clients in Minnesota, Tennessee,
West Virginia.
West Virginia was another state.
I had one in Colorado.
New York.
Mhm.
The West
Okay.
Virginia one is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
But, I could see where you would have more out of state than,
In state, yeah.
yeah, because,
Yeah.
is there some weird person watching your office to say, here's those weird people going in there? Because, at the paranormal conference, Tori, I don't know if you were there, but there was a guy outside with a bullhorn telling all of us we were going to hell.
Oh,
No
I did not
way.
know that.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
couldn't
was there,
understand what he
but-
said.
Yeah.
On Saturday only. He wasn't there on
All you
Sunday.
heard was wah, 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 wah.
Oh my
You
goodness.
couldn't understand it, but
I could hear him. I knew what he was saying.
his sign said.
Plus he had signs out there.
Yeah.
But if
My goodness.
you got in there too early, Mike.
We did. We must have.
So
Wow.
yeah. And the thing is was there anything in there that you saw that we were all going to hell for?
No.
No, not really.
Well, and that's something that really is just intriguing to me. If you go back, to the 1800s, you had mystics, you had all these people. Hi, Susan.
Susan and Mike.
What's that?
I said Susan and Mike.
That's her husband's name.
That's her husband.
Oh, awesome.
Hello.
Hi, Mike. But they utilized a lot of this. Da Vinci, he tapped into his, his natural state and through meditation, through, things that he would see, because he would get into such a deep meditative state that he could come up with these creations. A lot of the inventors back in those days, same thing. Nikola Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah.
on
It's
TV. Yeah.
interesting, but it's not something that the media today is going to tell you about, because they're like, they don't want you to go that direction, because we've been filled with so much media. We've been filled with so much BS, because our minds learn by repetition.
Yep.
So this is where marketing comes into play. Whether you're, what is it? Not a doomsday, but the conspiracy theorist, whatever that may be. Our government does things, and even when it comes to the money in the pocket and all that fun stuff, this is where we were talking about medications earlier. How many times in one show in the US do you see an advertisement for some type of medication? Okay, at least 4.
Yeah.
Minimum, at least, per show. Yeah, absolutely. And what is that doing? Well, not necessarily our conscious mind. We're like, oh God, not this commercial
That's
again
right.
in our conscious, but subconsciously. And then you're thinking, it's like, okay, well, maybe let's say it was for blood pressure. It's like, oh, my blood pressure, my heart's racing a little bit. And then your subconscious, you're like, oh, well, maybe I need to check with my doctor about this medication.
Yep.
And so it's a subliminal thing that it's, they're amazing at what they do, and then they keep pushing and pushing. So they're very, very smart. They know how the mind works, and it's unfortunate, but that's part of today.
Stuff
Well,
bothers me.
Denise watches soaps and the commercials on. I mean, there's nothing but drug commercials. And I said, the idiots that watch this stuff, after a while, they're gonna believe they got all this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That's who they're going. That's who they're catering to.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I take nothing that's on any of those commercials. And I have a fast
I don't know how they
forward
watch
button.
it anyway, but
There you go. Well, that's good.
Working from home, it's always been my coworker for all these years, and I've been working from home since 2007. So long before everybody's been doing it. So those are my coworkers. That's that background noise that I need. So people don't get it. I can't just sit here in the quiet.
No.
But with 7 people living in my house, there's not a lot of quiet, but there's a lot of
none.
There's some noise that I need to drown out so I can think.
Absolutely.
So that's how I do it. I don't listen to the commercials. I hardly listen to the show.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to Days of Our Lives for 58 years. And I know who the person is. I don't have to see them. I can hear it and not even really be listening, but I hear it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know exactly what's going on. And I probably still do. And I haven't seen it in, I'm behind 3 months.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I mean, I just started watching Young and the Restless again yesterday.
Oh,
Nice.
And I'm already caught up. It doesn't take long. And what's bad is that I'll tell him what's going to happen long before it happens.
Before it happens.
He's like, oh my
It's
God.
predictable. Yeah, it gets predictable.
Yeah.
Like I really care, right?
Right.
She tells me this stuff, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
I don't know how many times I told you this, but I could care less.
Hey,
Hi, Virgil.
you got to watch Days of Our Lives when people are
I
getting
guess you need
possessed.
somebody to talk to. I don't know.
But
Hey, Virgil.
But again, you're right. I know that there is subliminal stuff in every one of these messages. I know that when I'm in Walmart, there is something subliminal coming across those speakers that I can't hear. That maybe if I brought my recorder in with me and taped it, maybe I'd hear it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and they tailor the music to the people who are shopping. A lot of those places do. So like our generation, 80s, that kind of stuff, they're going to play that, whether it's country or a mix of all 80s, they don't care. They're going to tailor it to those shoppers, and it puts you in a good mood. So then what do you do when you're in a good mood? Oh, well, I really don't need this, but let me go ahead and get it and put it in my cart anyway. It really puts you, they've done, like I said, they've done an amazing job when they've come to all of this marketing and subliminal, influence.
Mm-hmm.
What's really funny is for me, if they play Tom Petty, I'm out of that store. And I know I'm in Florida and I know that he's from Gainesville, but I can't stand his voice.
She just found that out.
I just found that out. Yeah. And I was like, crap, because Kansas City loves Tom Petty.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
And I tell everybody I can't stand him. And they look at me like you're crazy. In fact, there will be some comments that will come across pretty soon hating on me because I can't stand Tom Petty. But I tell you, I ain't gonna say that.
I have a friend that's a fanatic, so I totally get it.
Yeah. I also say, I can't stand Pink Floyd, and my grandson's name is Ruby Floyd, and you go, what?
You made that association. Yep.
My daughter named her son Floyd because she loved Pink Floyd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Virgil.
But yeah, this is, and there you go, Carl. He's blaming you on smoking.
Now we got one that needs to stop.
Subliminal.
There you go.
So, do you think you're talking about,
So no free falling. Love it, Anthony. Love it, Anthony.
No, free falling was my favorite because I just saw this.
Onto the ground.
Oh.
So, I can get really crude on this, and I'm not going to. I have to live in Florida at this point.
Definitely top 10 worst voices ever.
I don't like the Beatles either. I don't like the Rolling Stones.
He's up there with Bob Dylan.
Needless to say, I'm going to piss off everybody if I keep talking about what I don't like. So, I love Meatloaf.
Oh, there you go.
So, who can go wrong with the songs that last 10 minutes?
Right.
Yeah, he was the king of those.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and they're great. But you're talking about controversy and theories.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any theories that people have come to you guys with on your hypnosis that were just ridiculous?
Yes.
I have not.
I had.
Oh,
yes.
I know where you're going.
I had one potential client who had asked about weight loss and said, "Hey, I've heard about hypnosis for weight loss. I've had some friends do it." And of course, explain to this individual, "Hey, I cannot make you do anything you do not want to do. Your subconscious still knows right from wrong. You're going to remember the session. And you know what? Mike, I have faith that you can help me lose this 10 pounds that I really want to lose. But I think that once you have me in hypnosis, you're going to tell me to kill my husband. And I'm like,
wow.
That's not.
I was like, wow. I was like, well, my first question was, and I didn't ask it. I just thought it.
Do you really want to?
Exactly. So you really want to kill your husband? Because if that's your motive, allow me to suggest you or refer you to another hypnotherapist. Because
or somebody
completely different.
Chief of police.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what a lot of people, they have a huge misconception about as well. Like, stage hypnotism versus hypnotherapy. So when you go to a stage hypnotist, you're going to do some silly stuff, right? You're going to use your shoe as a cell phone. You're going to
click like a chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just whatever it may be, whatever they're going to do that day. But your mind is already open to that. So you're going to be more suggestible for those type of suggestions. When you come to us for hypnotherapy, it's, you're coming to us for therapy. So it's going to be a completely different setting, and you're going to be open to an extent. And like Mike says, that's where your mind kind of puts that boundary of how far you're going to go. Because we're like, well, all right, well, if we could, I'd love a Ferrari, just put that in my driveway, give me $1 million, something. But we don't do, we can't do that, because we go at it as that hypnotherapy, as that therapy to assist.
Yeah, because if we could tell you to do whatever, every single hypnotherapist would have a house on the Gulf and 5 Bentleys. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Anthony, I couldn't agree more, sir. Food or song, best.
No, Virgil, you're not banned.
He's working on it.
Uh-oh.
So,
well, we warned you there'd be one.
at least one, right?
Okay, so when you go to put somebody into hypnosis, you've explained that hypnotherapy is different than hypnosis.
Yeah.
Even though it's still all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
What is the... Oh, no, I don't think that's the right question. I think the question I want to ask is, what can we get hypnotherapy for? You've already said quit smoking, weight loss, things like that. What about actual health issues like AFib or
stomach
cancer,
infertility?
Yep, fertility.
ED, erectile dysfunction.
That's
joint issues.
I want to say that's a big one. That's probably not.
Or a small one.
What's the problem?
And we're wearing the right color. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If you walk outside and look at their truck, then you'll know if they have ED.
That's true.
That's very true. If it's jacked up with all these different spoilers and stuff, they're compensating for something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So just to kind of add to your question, Court, we can do it for pretty much anything. So we've had, people that, hey, can you improve my golf swing? Yes. Jack Nicklaus used a hypnotherapist. Tiger Woods started using a hypnotherapist when he was 13 to get him in his focus whenever he would get ready to play. So Eddie, was it Eddie Hall?
Eddie Hall, yes.
Eddie Hall, the gentleman who just did the world record deadlift of 1,100 pounds. Half a ton. They asked him, what did you do? Of course, you prepared, you trained. He went to a hypnotherapist. And that's how he was able to lift that weight. They gave him kind of a trigger so that as soon as he'd come up and he'd reach down and grab the bar, as soon as he touched the bar became a car that he had to lift off of his kids. So he used hypnotherapy. So it can be used for many things.
Anything. We've had OCD. We've had, what was another one? We had a young lady that could not have intimate relationships with her significant other. And it was due to something that happened at school. But I mean, it just changed everything. We can do it to help with birthing if you're getting ready to have a baby and you want to have a more natural approach to that. We can do that as well. It's just about anything that you can think of. The only thing that we are unable to do is if you already have a type of psychosis, whether it's schizophrenia, anything along those lines, we are unable to work with that just because we're not sure which person we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that can get to be a challenge. So we do, suggest that you go to a psychiatrist for that. Now, with that being said, there has been a case that I've heard that a young lady ended up being sexually abused by her father and his friends.
Damn.
And due to that traumatic experience, she created 7 different people because of those situations that she experienced. Electric shock, that was an old, antiquated way that really didn't provide any assistance to anybody. It was more of, let's just try this and see what happens. I had an aunt on my dad's side who actually was provided electric shock therapy, and it just made things so much worse.
Yeah. It usually ends up making the person soup.
Yes.
Or
more psychotic or whatever that trigger was. It just intensifies that.
Yeah, it's not something you want to hear. I mean, a lot of the places that we investigate, there's some of those places where that occurred that we go to investigate at. And it's like, I just can't even imagine that. I mean, it's just horrible. And I mean, I know that we all probably have family members that were in the early or late 1800s, about the time the electricity came into play. You know that somebody was trying to figure it out until, I mean, it was going on until the 70s.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, we can thank Geraldo for bringing some of that to light back in the early or the late 70s.
Yeah.
So that's sad. So that's not something that's readily practiced anymore. I mean, it's
torture.
Yeah, it is. It is torture. Anthony also asked, can you utilize hypnosis to reach your inner child?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the biggest things it's used for, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And there's something that we do there. We have multiple tools that we use when we're dealing with trauma and issues, especially with the past. And we do something called the inner child, but also the parent that you never had, things like that. So we're able to utilize those tools to help you move forward. So yeah.
How do you utilize? Okay, so you said the parent you never had. What do you mean?
So basically, if I was in a scene with my younger self, because we do go back to kind of help merge the child. That's what I was trying to think. Sorry, merge the child, upgrading the child, merging the child. So when you go back to a scene and we finish all of that, we have you go back to like your childhood home, depending if it's appropriate for that particular individual and that particular scenes and situation. We take you back to your old childhood home. If you've moved around multiple times, pick your favorite one. You enter the house. We have you visualizing what it looked like, the smells, all of that. And then we go to your bedroom. We have you open the door, and you as a younger child is sitting on that bed. When we get you, to sit by the child or whatever, you're going to give praise to that child. You've endured so much, but look at where we are today. We've survived. We've gotten through all of this. And then you reach out and we do a little bit more, but then you hug the child. And then what we do is like, now you're the parent that you didn't have, or you're, whatever it was that they needed at the time. you are now that person. The older you is that to that younger you. And then we can actually merge, once we kind of get through that, get all of that resolved, we actually have them visualize the child kind of going into themselves again. So you're always going to be that parent to that child. You're going to provide that child love and continue on.
Is this like a form of time travel?
No, not really, because you've already been in the scenes. So it's more, you're just dialoguing with yourself, just in different time frames. But you've already been there and you already know how you were at that age. So it's just kind of tapping back into that.
And your subconscious is actually, your subconscious is going to answer when it goes to get into the scene anyway. So that's why hypnosis is so awesome, because it's going to be your subconscious, not your conscious mind, which can deflect.
Anthony, that's a great question. There was I can't remember his name. There was a gentleman back in the 80s, I think, or 90s. He was on Oprah, I remember, and he was big on writing letters to your child self. And anytime that you take anything out of your mind and put it on paper is a great thing. Because if you've got so much going on in your mind.
John Bradshaw,
thank you so much.
Sorry.
He was really big into writing letters to your child self. And it makes you more aware. And once you write it, it just kind of comes out of your mind so that you can kind of move forward. Absolutely.
Right.
And then Gary.
Let's see. You do your podcast on Spotify.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Of course, that's like a radio show and everything. What all do you talk about on that podcast on Spotify?
A little bit of everything.
Everything.
So we've also right now, I think with our 11 episodes, we have rules of the mind, kind of why our minds do what they do.
Letting go of your past. Habits. We got one about who we are and kind of how we got into this.
Right.
I can't remember which ones there are now.
Yeah. I know there's only 11. Yeah. We're talking about a good vast.
Yeah. Right.
Your mind works.
I know some of our future ones about boundaries,
relationships.
Triggers, relationships, things like that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Has it been helping your business to do those podcasts?
It has.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
and ours is just audio, not video on our podcast. So
right.
Yeah, cute faces.
Yeah.
This is pretty inexpensive, and it when you download it, you can download audio only and put it on Spotify.
Oh, gotcha.
Or Anchor FM.
And you can do it at the same time you do a live video.
Really?
You can do a live audio on Spotify at the same time.
Really?
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And of course, you've got chat.
After the show's over, I'll talk to you both about it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's pretty inexpensive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're all about.
Yeah, we're all about the inexpensive.
Inexpensive, absolutely.
So, Tori, what did you used to do before? I mean, I know the part about when you guys were setting up the clinics and all that. So, what was your life experience before?
So I grew up military. My dad was in the Air Force, old school Air Force. We traveled around the U.S. So, really it kind of brought me out of my shell, because if you go to a new place and you can't talk to people and you can't do things, you're kind of stuck in a corner and by yourself. So that really kind of helped me. I had been married prior, divorced, and then met my man today, my awesome husband. And, him being military as well, had odd jobs, whether it was in finance, whether, it was Home Depot, wherever we traveled, for his job, I would just have to find something locally. So, it's one of those, you kind of took what you had available. So, just a wide, a vast career as far as things that I did when we traveled from place to place. And then, like Mike said, that's kind of when, was about to say the name.
Yeah.
Our corporate training position came about, and as Mike had stated earlier. So
Anthony has another good question. He goes, how does your program play with free will of the person's mind?
how does the program play into free will?
I mean, as far as like hypnotherapy?
Yeah.
Or
My guess is he's going with, is it overriding free will?
No. Yeah. If you come to us, say, I don't know, somebody says, I want to come and I want to stop smoking. Okay. Are you ready to listen to the recording? Are you ready to, take extra measures in, finding alternative things to do, to kind of break those habits? So if you're not invested in it, it's not going to work. Because we will have people, we'll have people that, I listened to the recording for 3 days and then, life got in the way and they fall back into old habits. Habits take a minimum of 21 days to break.
Yep.
And that's why we suggest listening to the recording for a minimum of 21 days. I have a client that still listens to it to this day. And we did it. We had their session in January. And they stated that it just helps them get in the right mind frame for the day. And, they've been very successful with it.
How long is each recording, or are they different for each person?
It can vary, but we try to keep it around 20 minutes.
No more.
Max. Yeah.
People, they lose. They're gone.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Absolutely.
I find this really interesting because, my mom had used hypnotherapy to quit smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
I didn't know it.
Then my 45th birthday hit and she started smoking again. She used me as her catalyst.
Excuse.
Excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, catalyst is a nice way to say it.
Yes.
But does that happen to a lot of people, that just something triggers them to just completely revert?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because it could be something similar. Maybe she saw something happening with you that happened to her when she started smoking, or something was going on, in the family realm at the time that reminded her and set that trigger off. Absolutely.
And your mind will go back to what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're trying to stop and trying to work your way, we had one client like, man, I feel great. This is awesome. I get up in the morning and I'm wonderful.
I feel like I
can conquer the day. And then
something triggers.
Something triggered it. It's like, well, no one likes me happy anymore. So I'm just going to go back to my old self, because your mind's going to go back to what's familiar. Or like, you can't.
That's why habits are so hard to break.
That's why, habits are, really hard to break. Stay on top of it. Stay out of that negative loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll have anywhere from 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. 84% of those thoughts are negative. Of those 84% thoughts, 90% of them are recurring. So if you're already negative, you have yourself in a negative thought pattern all the time from the time you wake up. And that's why it's really hard to break what we call the negative programming, to where, well, I'm never going to amount to anything because my third grade teacher told me I was an idiot and laughed at me when I pronounced the word wrong. So now you have someone that's 30 some years old who thinks I will never be able to own my own business, climb up the corporate ladder because my teacher said I was too stupid. There's your negative programming, and it just stays.
Yep. So Anthony, absolutely. It can definitely be reset.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it can.
So for anybody who's listening that didn't see the question.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Anthony asked, can your mind be reset from a message that's already planted in the mind? And you guys basically answered that question is, you got the reset button, and so they can basically, they go back to their bad habit. My mom, if she had a recording, she could have went back to that recording and it would have set her mind back to,
Would have reset it.
Yes.
go back to quitting smoking again.
Absolutely.
Yes.
and she might still be here as opposed to being dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, she had COPD.
Okay.
She died in 2017. There's, but there's a lot of things, like I said, I can only go back on experiences that other people have had. I don't think I've ever been hypnotized.
No.
I don't, and I know I never did. Well, actually, one of the doctors at the Lemon Center in Kansas City, I saw him once and he gave me a recording and all this. It wasn't a personal recording. It was a recording he told me to listen to every day to put myself into a meditative state. And I still have it somewhere, but it was to help fight migraines.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And so I was in a cycle of where I couldn't get rid of the migraines. But everything that he was saying, it's like, this all makes sense. And I didn't feel the need to pay for something that, I already knew. I mean, not because I'd been having hypnotherapy, but because I just knew that I just needed to put my mind at ease and hopefully it would go away.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not big on, I can't take medication for migraines anymore because I have a heart condition. So you have to be really careful.
Absolutely.
So it was all, I thought it was interesting. I'm now seeing a correlation between what you guys are saying to what he said in the limited time I had with him at the Lemon Center. Now I'm going to have to go look that up and see if he was doing the same thing.
Yeah, that would be really interesting because Mike actually, just to add to your point, Mike had a client who had severe neck pain. She thought it was from an accident that she had. And Mike, I'll let you.
Yeah, she was in an accident, figured, well, I've had the neck pain. I didn't know how long ago the crash was. It was in the 90s. And she'd been going to physical therapy and just couldn't get any relief from the neck pain. And we figured, well, maybe she had negative programming, had a chiropractor or a physical therapist sit there and say, you're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
You don't have it all the time. You just need to suck it up and drive on. And got her down into hypnosis, started in with the scenes. And, well, all the scenes had to deal with her guilt of not being there when her son committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that's what I about fell out of the chair. This was, one on, virtual one. And she said, not what I expect. I was waiting to say my physical therapist told me. I was like, yeah.
Right.
And then she said that. Like, well, okay. So
that is a weird story, but very appropriate.
Well,
Right.
and this is something too. There have been studies done that show 75% of all illnesses that people have, 75% are all functional. Exactly, Ron. In the mind. It starts in the mind. So things that we've gone through, things that, we internalize, we push that in our body, and our body's like, okay, let me just stick that here for right now because I can't deal with it because we're dealing with something else. So what happens is it stays in your body. It causes stress. Stress in turn causes inflammation. Inflammation in turn can cause disease. So the longer that we don't deal with something or internalize it, you're most likely going to end up with something. And it's due to our thoughts, and not dealing with things. Yeah.
And then back, 17?
Oh, in 1867, Dr. Henry Maudsley had stated that emotions that are not expressed through tears create other organs to weep. And so it's kind of the same concept. So if we don't deal with those emotions, if we don't deal with those situations, we internalize them, which in turn create those diseases.
So you suppress all your hard feelings, your anger, your jealousy, your hatred. You keep all that down in, all your grief, everything. The more you suppress it, the more problems you have with there's your headaches. Yeah. There's your joint aches. There,
heart
my
conditions.
Neck ache, your heart conditions. You keep it all down.
I'm part of that club, just FYI.
Which is why I said if you'd have told me 5 years ago that I was going to be doing this, I'd have laughed in your face because I was one of the kings of you just hold on to it, be the pillar. You cannot show emotion any way, shape, or form. And it does take a toll.
Yeah.
Well, there are times that showing emotion is the worst thing you can do.
Yes.
Because it gives other people power, but then when you can express it, then you need to.
Well, and I would say to that one, you're around the wrong people, first of all. Around the wrong people. If you can't express your emotions around people, you're around the wrong people.
I'm saying, like in the military.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna be beat up for showing your emotions.
Back in the day, that's where it really, you have to be, you can't show anything. And then when I got into law enforcement, they pretty much said, well, you don't show emotion no matter what type of scene you're on, because the community is looking up to you to be that rock, that pillar. They're like, you will grieve. And I had a guy tell me this. This is when we were going through training. He said, you grieve on your own time. That might not be when you're done with your shift. That might not be 3 years from now. That might be 10 or 15 years from now. But you grieve on your own time. Other than that, you hold on to it.
And I think it's a generational thing too. Like we grew up, you didn't show those emotions. You didn't, and as of course we grow and learn.
We drank out of the garden hose though.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh yeah.
It was safe to back then. Not so much now.
Well, the water here I wouldn't drink out of the tap. But we did a lot of things that people nowadays like ride in the back of a truck.
Oh gosh, yes.
Without in a lawn chair where you're sitting up almost as high as
the edge of the bed. Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, there's a on dirt roads bouncing around, and nobody even thinks anything of it.
The dust from the
and now you get a ticket for that.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we even rode in the back of campers that were being towed. We weren't supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Things that, so many things. I mean, even metal Tonka trucks are looked down upon these days.
Crazy.
Right.
As a tetanus issue.
Oh, yeah.
But
in the good old days.
Well, I grew up everywhere. I was always the new kid.
Gotcha.
And we were not military. My dad was a draft dodger.
Gotcha.
And not intentionally.
Yeah.
Well, I guess intentionally. I was born intentionally to keep him from being drafted to go to Vietnam.
Okay.
So we went to where there were jobs, but we were always the new kids. I mean, I changed schools probably some years 2 times, 3 times a year. So I had to learn how to be me, to stand, to fit in fast. So just like you guys, minus the military, he was in the military, but we didn't have kids in that. We have, since we've been adults, we've moved 5 times since we've been married.
Gotcha.
And this is 2 apartments.
Oh,
the house, and the house.
The house.
Yeah. I mean, I never lived in one place as long as we did our last house.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
It is. That was 23 years we lived in that house, and the house before that was 14 years. Will I make it 24 here? I see me at the nursing home across the road sooner than that.
Yeah.
So, but I understand, all of your past. I understand where you guys came from, and I now know how you got to where you are. And I think you're right. You would not have seen this coming. This is that bus.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Did you, when you were in Omaha, how did you find out about it? You were just looking at some stuff or looking through
the guy that Mike had
the Facebook ad?
Yeah. Oh.
And you just downloaded his program or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And who was it?
It was on
Jose Silva.
Okay, I've heard that name before.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I've heard that name before.
Good.
I think I've seen the book. That's where I know the.
Yeah. And Jose Silva actually was in the Army.
Yeah.
And that's where he started basically learning more about his program. And then when he went home, he was actually utilizing it on his children. And, you know, like he would get them into hypnosis and he'd be reading them a book. And then he found that the daughter, even though she didn't know the book and she really couldn't read, she was starting to read with him. She was, you know, going verbatim. They were on the same energy field, on the same wavelength. It was really, really interesting.
And then they thought he was crazy, so he started doing it with the neighbors' kids. And then the neighbors' kids, their grades started going up, and their memory was amazing and what they were able to do. And he's like, "So you still think I'm crazy? I just did it to the neighbors' kids." So
this sounds like a lot of the experiments that they did at Aberdeen Proving Grounds and other.
Yeah, your mind can do a lot more than what people think.
Oh my God,
I've said that forever.
I think, was it PSYOPs? I think uses a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, PSYOPs. They'll do
military and things like that. So
yeah, the mind is amazing.
We don't realize how powerful we are just as an individual being ourselves. You know, we have some amazing tools, and our brain is one of them.
Yeah, I know. In the military, it's just most of it was mental anyway. The physical part was I didn't have any problem with that. If you get to the mental, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, doing a road march, or whether you're running because someone took a wrong turn and now you're doing 3 more miles.
Yep.
True story. Fort Drum. And you think, man, I just can't take another step. Well, by the time you finish saying that, how many steps have you already taken?
I know.
You already just took more than 1 step. So you're, like you said, it is mental. Just, you know, I hate to use it. I used it so many times, to suck it up and drive on. But that's how we did it. You just go. A lot of it was mental. And you don't realize how strong you really were until you kicked it in with your mind. Yep.
So Gary has a question here. He says, my voice jerks, which started with a chemical burn, could mind control
in his throat.
His throat. He quivers. I mean, it sounds like he's quivering when he's talking.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Because a lot of times too, when we go through something that traumatic, you know, other things kind of domino effect, I guess you could say, with that. So if it wasn't inhaled or anything that physically scarred your voice box or anything like that, it was probably
It could have been, yeah.
And it could have been that, yes. So if it was more just trauma related as far as just the mental aspect of it, but one good thing that we can try and see if it would work for you, it's one of our tools. I don't know, Gary, I can't remember where we were at the time, but we do have tools that we use, and one that would be beneficial for you would be our CCT, which is our command cell therapy, where you visually see, when we go into hypnosis, we have you visually seeing the tissues going back to how they were prior to that chemical burn. If it was, you know, inhaled like that, and your body can actually heal itself. So, and even rebuild those muscles, those striations, to where it gets them back to working order.
Is there it's going to sound weird, age limit? I mean, is there a time that we're too old to go back?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Now we won't go younger than 7 or 8. Just because of, just the maturity level. So a lot of times we won't do that. It would just be more of a talk therapy with anyone younger than 7 or 8. But as far as age limit, the other direction, absolutely not.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to hear you guys have big ethics.
We have big what?
Ethics.
Ethics? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
That's huge, because, there's a lot of stuff on the news about letting children that age and little older make decisions that they shouldn't be making.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, I'd see a different doctor, Gary.
Yeah.
This was a while back.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, and what's sad about that, it's probably more of a malpractice thing. That he just doesn't want to touch it or look at it, which is really sad. But yeah, I'd find a new doctor.
What to tell you exactly what happened? Pastor Gary used to be the zone commissioner down in Caldwell County.
Okay.
He used to make the road signs for all your county roads.
Yes.
The vinyl on the vinyl cutter that they used at that time, he was using, got recalled and canceled because of the vapors when they cut it was coming up off what people were breathing. That's what happened to Pastor Gary.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, Gary, I'm hate that happened. I mean, that's something that's unfortunate that, it's about pushing out the products and we'll figure out the issues.
Right. Yeah.
As like Agent Orange, you got a lot of people, back in the military from that stuff. And it's just,
we have a family member that's what he passed from was that. And we're trying to figure out how that passed to the children through his body into theirs.
Sure.
So the children were born after the exposure.
Okay.
Through his DNA.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right. But how is it affecting them? Because there's a lot of, just this part of the family has an amazing amazing stories of things that all these things wouldn't happen to one family. But then there's also people that were in that town that they're all showing signs of different cancers and stuff in the town that they were growing up in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was telling us that his cousin was telling us that hardly anybody has gone untouched by cancer in this one town.
Yeah. And that's so unfortunate.
It's passed through the DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But of the whole town, that's not the Agent Orange part. The Agent Orange part is a different.
Yeah, that's
just their family. The town itself.
That sounds like it was in the water supply.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If these, what was I cannot remember the name of that movie to save my life, but it had Julia Roberts and she played.
Brock.
Yes.
Aaron Brockovich.
Yep.
Yeah.
A testament to exactly what you're saying. You have these big corporations that move in and, they're upstream and then they start putting things in the water and then, cancer runs rapid.
She was
spring
a few years ago at the old insulation plant out there where they had buried barrels and stuff. So, a lot of things go on like that in your water supply.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, even things that, we put down the garbage disposal or, flush down the toilet. If you do pills, that's going in your water supply too. And we don't realize how much, the concentration really is.
Yeah. I don't like throwing away anything like that. And people may not know this, but you can dispose of your bad old medication at almost any hospital or drugstore, and they will take it off your hands. So don't throw it in the trash.
Or any sheriff's department will also take it now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They would rather it go there than end up in the hands of somebody else.
Oh my gosh.
End up in a landfill where some kid in the future would grab it and go, "Oh, a pill."
Absolutely.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we're getting near we're at the last half hour of the show. I can't believe we've gone this long.
I know. It doesn't seem
I know it's gone by. Watch the time. I was like, oh my gosh.
It always goes fast. When we have questions and we've got, we're, like I said, you're going to see a lot of listening and a lot of thinking. So.
And we got a lot of people listening over on Rumble right now too.
Oh, okay.
Well, if any of them have any questions, please let me know what they are.
I know. I put it in there if they have any questions to ask them, and we put it on here.
So we're going to talk about some personal thoughts.
Yes.
So one of the questions that we ask almost everybody is, if you were able to time travel, would you go forward or backward? We'll just start with that one first. So think about that. And when you went forward or backward, where would you like to go? Or when would you like to go?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Oh, that's a tough one.
That's my question I came up with. That we use it all the time now.
Yeah, you came up with a great one on that one, Ron.
Yeah, that
That's
is a good
interesting.
one.
They're down here in Miramar Beach.
George.
Gary.
Oh, yep, yeah, Miramar Beach, Florida, or if you've heard of Destin and the Panhandle.
Yeah,
They're by
they're
me.
down there by us, Gary.
Yeah, near you guys. If I would go time travel, I would probably go back.
Okay, and to when would you think that you would want to go back to?
So there, everybody pretty much says is back.
I would go back to, I don't, if it would be when I was contracting or when I was in the military, my last duty station.
It doesn't have to be in your life.
Yeah,
It could be anytime.
thank you.
See, mine would be, I was going to say the same thing going back, but, seeing these individuals that utilize this, in the 1800s and, really, I would love to see their perspective on that, because we don't hear a lot about that these days. And I would love to go back and really kind of, pick their brain, so to speak, on, what they've seen. What was it? Trying to remember the book that we had listened to, where they just started this new way. I think it was 1889. And it really it still kind of went into 1909, but it was talking about the new thought, where it's positive, it's, you're really focusing on that positivity. And then the more you focus on positivity, you start to see more positive come to you, so kind of that law of attraction style mentality. So that would be mine. I would love to.
I know where I'd go now. Okay. So a lot of people do not know that Sigmund Freud got his start in hypnosis.
Right.
Started practicing hypnosis. He did not get the results that he wanted. They said that he was actually a little bit too aggressive, which is in hypnosis, we're not telling you what I want. You're telling me what you want. I would like to go back and watch him do a hypnosis session. Because they said he got too demanding. Because, well, you're not giving me the answer that I want. Well, it's not about your damn answer. It's about your client. And I'd like to see that. I would like to see him do a hypnosis session, because that's why he went into psychoanalysis. Because he actually found out that we do have a subconscious. But I've talked with other people taking psychology class. Like, they never mentioned anything about Freud and starting off in hypnosis. Like,
of course they won't. Yeah.
No, they're not going to, because he not the right guy for that.
Yeah.
The way I always looked at him, he was a results person. He wasn't a he wanted to do the research, but he wanted to make sure that the answers tailored to what
huge.
To his theory.
Yes.
So his hypothesis was always correct.
Yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
He's always right.
So he was a narcissist.
Yes, he
which is why we never see narcissists, because they're never wrong.
Yeah. They don't see anything wrong.
There's nothing wrong with
Right. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, we got that. Well, what do you do if you have a client that's a narcissist? Well, they never come to us because there's never anything wrong with them.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they're people that they prey on, absolutely, but he was a narcissist.
Yeah, we have a friend that does classes on how to recognize a narcissist, and she's also a demonologist. So it's really interesting. So have you guys ever come across anybody that might have been possessed?
No, not as of right now. No. We have. Think of a few. We have had one in particular that when I had them in hypnosis, they kept seeing this dark figure, you know, a light behind them. I mean, it was dark everywhere except like this light coming from behind, so they could see the silhouette, but they couldn't see features. They couldn't see anything, but there was a real pull to that person, whatever that was, you know, whoever they were. And as you know, this is one that was challenging for me as well, because we were just trying to find a way for her to either figure out who this person was or what direction this individual was trying to get them to go, and ended up being her grandmother. Had passed away many, you know, when she was, I think, 12, and it helped her get closure to her death and more connection with her grandmother.
Yeah, I'm going to be really surprised if you don't come across someone who comes to you and saying that they felt like they had been possessed.
Yeah.
Because there's more and more people that are coming out and saying that these days. And they don't want it to be medical. And some of the people, it's not medical.
No.
It is something on the spiritual side.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily a ghost. A spirit, you know, spirituality is truly something that's in your head and in your heart.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people look at it that way. I think they look at it more like I'm experiencing ghosts, whether they're there or not. They see them in their head, so they exist.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that ghosts don't exist, because I truly believe that they do. I believe that there are spirits out there, blah, blah, blah. We can go on that all day. But I do believe there are some people out there that that's not what they're hearing. They're hearing what they want to hear in their own heads.
Yeah. Or whatever beliefs that they've brought with them from their childhood or traumatic experiences, and had to find a different way to process it. And that's what it's turned into.
And let's see, we got about less than 20 minutes left. Do you guys have any questions that we can answer for you?
About what does it cost? What's for a session, or is it cheaper online, or
so what we do offer different levels. So it can be $250 per session. Right now we're doing a holiday special because of everything that's going on. We offer pre-recorded, which is very general. It's $75 for the recording. You can listen to it, you know, for the rest of your life if it benefits you. But those are $75. Once you pay, it goes immediately into your email. Again, they're very general. So if you have a specific issue, it won't tailor to that.
Right.
But if you do a full session lasts about 2 hours. So in that 2 hour time frame, you know, you get a recording. We'll do $250 per session. If it looks like you're going to need more than just one session, we do give discounts as that goes. So 3 sessions, 6 sessions, and so on and so forth.
And then something to add on to that is how we do it. It's kind of like the trickle down or the domino effect. So let's say you come for anxiety, and we take care of your anxieties. Like, well, now you got insomnia, so let's suck you in for a few more sessions for insomnia. No. So we take care of your anxiety. You don't feel anxious anymore. You get better night's sleep. That we just took care of your insomnia. If you were a smoke, well, you stopped smoking. Well, now I'm getting up in the morning and I'm working out, and now I feel better. Well, if you're working out, feeling better, well, now you're losing that excess weight that you might have been concerned about. So by taking care of one issue from just the domino effect, can actually take care of all the way down the line, which is amazing. Absolutely. It's like, wow, I'm not anxious. I'm not depressed. I feel better. I'm working out. I'm more productive at work. I'm getting a raise. I got a raise. Now I can afford to buy that Mercedes that I wanted. So all from just taking care of your anxiety.
And we do accept payments for those who, you know, do have issues, you know, if they need a little more assistance.
Yes.
We can definitely do that as well.
And the website again is
Complete Holistic Coaching and Wellness.com. So I don't know if it shows you guys at the bottom of our name.
Yeah.
Just that exactly. .com. It's a long one. We didn't think that through when we started.
Yeah, I wish I could go back to that, but it's not going to happen. There we go. I just want to make sure we put it out there again.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
No, I don't.
It is a link or
It will be a link regardless because it says .com.
right.
Now, when you do your YouTube videos, are they live or are they pre-recorded?
Right now, I'm doing them pre-recorded. So I haven't done any live yet. The only lives I've really done, aside from this one, is usually on our Facebook. I'll do a Facebook Live here and there. Bring up certain things. Hey, are you, suffering from stress? Here are the symptoms of stress. What can we do to help you with stress? Your anxiety. Anxiety disorders. Usually have been quite a few of them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't recognize GAD.
No, they don't.
They'll just think they're depressed and move on.
Yeah.
And no, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Have you helped a lot of people or veterans with PTSD?
Haven't had. That's the interesting one. You'd think within our area that we would have quite a few.
Yeah.
But we haven't. We actually got invited. We went and spoke at there's a local veterans group support group, and they called us up at the last minute and said, "Hey, we just found you guys. Could you come and talk tonight?" Like, yeah, we went up there and talked, and people they loved it. And as we started to see, sadly, it's like, well, I want the help, but I'd rather complain about not having help so that I have something to complain about. It's like,
wow.
Well, and it's bad. And to not just say that it's us, we had run into a doctor from Canada who was a veteran of the Canadian military. And he walked up, he goes right out of the blue. He said, "So how do you deal with the veterans here?" I was like, "They want the help, but they don't." And he said, "I have the same problem in Canada." It's like they would rather complain about the VA or, gripe about, well, there's not any help. No one wants to help me. When in fact, it's like, hey, you can come. We will be more than happy to help you out, whether it's, holistic coaching, to whether you say that, well, I don't want to say I'm going to a therapist. Well, you can go to a holistic coach. Yeah. Everything is in alignment with you. Or we can do, if you want meditation, if you want to do a hypnotherapy session, we can do that to help you get back on track and address what your issues are. I'm like, I don't think so.
I'm good. I want my service dog,
Yeah.
which they're great. They're great for certain things, but they're not going to help you deal with that issue that you're experiencing.
Right.
We've even been approached by and followed up with several veteran support groups and that help with PTSD and suicide and just improvement for our veterans. And they turned us away as well. And we were offering our services to them for free,
even though they came to us
right
first, saying, "Hey, oh my gosh, hypnotherapy, this is great. Can you do this?" Yep, we can do this. Gave them all the, here's the tools. This is how we can address it. This is what we can do to take care of it. Like, oh, thank you so much. This is awesome. We'll get back with you.
Radio silence.
Radio
Absolutely.
silence, and that's where, as we started seeing, of course, some of the people that I'd work with. Seeing some of that mentality is some of them I'm just going to deal with it. I'm just going to muscle through. Yeah. Well, by you muscling through, what effect is that having on your family, your work? There's that trickle down effect again. It's like, well, I'm just going to muscle through. I'm going to wake up mad at the world, hating everybody, being depressed, being angry, having anxiety, no one wants to be around me. Well, at what point do you really, really want to address that issue and move on with your life? Because it's also having an effect on everybody else as well. And there is help out there. We're more than willing to help out and help someone address their issues and get them right.
And work with people, you know, because we know sometimes our cost is a little high for people. So we even take that in consideration and work with people there as well. So.
Well,
Okay.
thank you so much. Here's my last question for you. I'm going to go completely the opposite way than I was going before. If you could give hypnotherapy to anyone, anyone in the world, or dead or alive,
okay,
who would it be and why?
Ooh.
Who?
I mean, sometimes, we want to know how people's minds work.
Absolutely.
Why? I mean, why was Hitler a nut job?
And you can't say Biden either because he's got nothing.
Oh, come on. That's who I was hoping they would say.
I think he's in a constant state of hypnosis.
Yeah, he's just constant. That is a great question.
Who I would like to do it on is British musician.
British or Scottish?
Scottish.
Lewis Capaldi.
Louis Capaldi.
He has Tourette's.
And he had developed, and we were watching a show on him, and you kind of figured out, it's like we usually ask the question, so what was going on in your life before blah? Like, oh, well, everything was fine, and this was great, and I was this, and then boom, I had this happen. Okay, that's where we can start and work back to. So he started getting tics, which was brought up into Tourette's, and his family noticed that he was getting these tics right about the time it was his grandmother or his aunt.
It was his aunt.
His aunt had passed away.
She committed suicide.
So we're like, dude, we can help with that.
Because his mother
we already know.
Yeah. Well, they did a documentary on that. So that's how we found out about that. But his mother said that's exactly when she noticed those changes. So in that trauma, in that traumatic event, that's what created his Tourette's. Guarantee that.
Okay. Tori, you.
Oh, I would love to go back to the Egyptian time period and really pick their brains as how they came to develop the pyramids and, just the improvements and the advancements that they did, where did that come from, that kind of thing. That's what I'd love to.
Aliens.
They had help.
Had to be. Because you look at it, but just to really just kind of confirm, like you were talking about earlier, just to get that confirmation of that being the case.
Yeah, we actually had someone say they would go back in time to the Egyptian time to see actually how they did it, how they built the pyramid.
That'd be interesting. That'd be wild.
It does.
Or, some of the things that, most of my life has been erratic, my entire life. So I look at it and go, I would like to go back to a time that was much more peaceful. Sure. But then I look at that and go,
when was that?
I don't know. It's boring. I want to know. I want to know why there are spaceships and spacemen on petroglyphs in the middle of the painted desert. Okay, I want to know why.
Yeah, we think we're the first ones here. We have such a skewed version of. I'm sorry, we have how many? I mean, we haven't even scraped the surface on how many galaxies are out there. But yeah, we think the only beings here. We are thinking so small.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no way we're the only ones.
Absolutely
no way.
I mean,
absolutely not.
It's, here you may actually come across some people that may have been abducted, may have been experiencers.
That is very.
And don't be surprised if you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be shocked as shit with their stories. Because we have heard some of the most amazing stories from people who are abductees.
Wow. Oh yeah.
And I just sit there and go, I don't know what I do. I mean, I really don't. And I mean, I can name 5 people right off the top of my head that have been abducted.
Really? I have not had that opportunity.
No.
Travis Walton
I would love to talk to Travis Walton.
got his book. Well, we did.
You guys, I would like to know really, because he doesn't know everything he experienced when he was on the ship.
Right.
Wow.
And just for people who are listening, if you saw fire in the sky, he was not dropped down naked in Snowflake. He was not naked. He said so himself. He goes, I had on clothes. He goes, they were ripped. He goes, but I was fully dressed.
Hollywood effect.
Spin on it, it is Hollywood after all.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Anthony says, even throw Native American stories of moving from planet to planet.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
So
I would love to be able. Well, and that's something else too. My great grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee. I would love to be able to, talk to her and really get an understanding of our culture, because it was just kind of lost through the generations.
Well, once we started intermixing the races, we lose it, because I am part Cherokee and Blackfoot.
Oh, awesome.
And so I'm missing out on two different cultures that I know truly nothing about. And I mean, I guess I could have gone to Tonopah and checked that out and saw what was going on down there, but it wouldn't have done me any good because I don't have any context, because my family has been away from that for so long. But I would like to thank you guys so much for coming on. This was a really great show, and we kept a lot of people's attention for quite a long time, and I appreciate that, having you guys bring that to us.
Oh, this
appreciate
was
you.
fun.
Yes.
Thank you so much for reaching out.
I'm glad we got you. This wasn't what I thought it was. It really wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Misconception.
Yeah. We just kind of scratched the surface in a couple hours. So technically, we just did a hypnotherapy session. 2 hours. How do you feel?
I feel good.
I feel great.
Awesome.
I feel like I need to get up and move around.
I know, right? Achy joints.
So, but thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that I met you at the paranormal conference and come on here.
Awesome.
And the one thing we didn't really talk about is why do we need life coaches? So we may have to have you back on some other time.
Okay, yeah, and that's a big one too. That's actually really there's
Thank
just
you,
some
Anthony.
out there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anthony.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Stay on here after the show. We'll talk.
We'll do.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect.
Yes, sir. We'll do. And again, like Mike said, we've got free consultation, 30-minute consultations to see if it works for you, whether it's coaching, whether it's, whole body coaching, meditation, or hypnotherapy.
And there's the website address again for you guys to go and check that out. And please check it out and check out their podcast again. And what was the name of that again?
Go deep or go home.
Yes.
I agree. Go deep or go home, everybody.
I've heard that one.
We're kind of a different approach to therapy. So,
Kind of the in your face sort of, yeah.
We are of that generation.
Yes.
Wake up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, wake up. How much longer do you want to continue doing what you're doing now that's not working?
And people need to. I mean, they really do need to wake up and see what's truly going on in front of them. Not what they think is going on, but what truly is going on.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm sorry, everybody, this ended up kind of dovetailing off my show last night near the end of it into this one. So we seem to get into a theme and it kind of sticks for a little while.
It sticks with it on both days.
Nice.
That worked out good.
So please make sure you guys check out the Paranormal Pride every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central. And it's mostly paranormal. Very seldom does it go to the other P word. So make sure that you guys check it out. I will let you know who my guest is as soon as I decide who I want it to be. And just make sure you check us out. Next Tuesday, if the weather's good, Carl, we might want to do another graveyard tour.
Okay, that'd be great. Another live tour at a graveyard.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is a different one.
Yeah, it's
It's
really different.
really different.
We
And
watched
it's
one on
only-
TikTok.
Yeah, it's only right across the street from the last one we did.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
And it's that different. That different.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
think everybody will find it interesting.
Right.
The
Not
bad part is
very well taken care of.
Yeah, it's dark
in
by-
spots.
Yeah, 5 o'clock. Yeah.
It's weird.
So
That's
yeah.
all right.
And just
But
remember, guys.
everybody, check out the Billerites Network on Facebook, where we're live at, the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment's Facebook page, Things Network Facebook page, and Japan Paranormal's Facebook page.
Oh, wow.
Plus, check out all the other YouTube channels, and Born TV on Rumble is where we're live at too. So everybody check that out. And again, I want to thank Mike and Tory for being on the show tonight. And we will see you all next Tuesday night here on Paranormal Nation Radio. Have a good evening.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.